Before we begin, understand this. Nothing destroys your potential faster than holding on to what weakens you. Most people spend their entire lives trying to add more goals, more habits, more plans, without ever realizing that true transformation begins with subtraction. The Stoics knew that the path to strength, clarity, and inner peace is not about becoming someone new in front of the world. It's about quietly removing everything that blocks who you were meant to be. If you've ever felt that something inside you is calling for change, that you're capable of more than what life currently reflects, then you are exactly where you need to be right now. Pay close attention to every second of this video, because each point builds on the next, and missing even one detail could keep you stuck in patterns you're finally ready to break. And before we continue, drop a like, not for the algorithm, but as your first act of commitment to your own evolution. Let's begin removing, in silence, everything that has held you back for far too long. Most people try to improve their lives by talking loudly about change, announcing new goals, and seeking validation for every decision. But the real transformations happen in silence. Stoic wisdom teaches that you don't evolve by telling others what you are replanning. To eliminate, you'd evolve by cutting away what no longer serves you, quietly, without needing applause. This video reveals the 10 things you must quietly remove from your life if you want to build inner strength, mental clarity, and a sense of peace that no external chaos can break. Pay attention to each point until the end, because the final one is the most uncomfortable, but also the one that unlocks the greatest change. The first thing you must remove in silence is the habit of seeking approval. Most people live like prisoners of other people's opinions, adapting their behavior to be liked instead of living according to their values. Stoicism teaches that the only approval that matters is your own, because external validation is unstable, temporary, and unpredictable. The day you stop adjusting your personality to fit someone else's expectations is the day you start experiencing true freedom. Do it quietly, without dramatic announcements. Simply stop explaining yourself and start choosing what feels aligned with who you really are. The second silent elimination is your attachment to comfort. Comfort feels safe, but it slowly weakens your character. Growth requires friction, waking up earlier than your body wants, learning new skills even when it feels confusing, and staying disciplined even when you don't feel motivated. Stoicism teaches that the person who embraces discomfort willingly becomes mentally unstoppable. Don't post on social media about your grind. Simply choose the hard path every day without expecting applause. Internal victories are the ones that truly shape you. The third thing is toxic relationships. The ones that drain your energy, discourage your progress, or secretly hope you fail. You don't need to confront these people, argue, or explain anything. Stoic strength is walking away without anger, without revenge, and without needing them to understand. Protecting your peace is not selfish, it's essential. Remove these connections quietly by reducing access, not by dramatic exits. The people who deserve to be in your life won't fight against your growth. The fourth silent elimination is the need for control. Most suffering comes from trying to force outcomes you cannot influence. People's behavior, the past, or the future. Stoicism teaches that peace begins the moment you stop trying to control what you can't. Shift your energy entirely to what you can control. Your actions, your discipline, your decisions. Once you do that, anxiety loses power over you. No announcement is needed. Simply detach and watch how your life becomes lighter. The fifth thing is excuses. Every excuse delays the life you want. Stoicism values responsibility over justification. It doesn't matter why something is hard, you do it anyway. Successful people don't talk loudly about discipline, they practice it. From now on, when you hear yourself creating a reason not to act, replace it with action. Quietly show up for yourself every day. The world will notice eventually, but the transformation starts in silence. The sixth elimination is the habit of gossip and comparison. Talking about others or measuring your success through someone else's life only weakens your focus. Stoics train their attention like a weapon, directed only at their own path. While everyone else wastes time discussing people, you invest time building yourself. Improvement becomes unstoppable when you stop watching other people and start working on yourself with no audience. The seventh thing you must remove is the desire for instant reward. Most people quit because they don't see fast results. Stoicism teaches delayed gratification, effort now, reward much later. If you learn to stay consistent without immediate payoff, you become someone who cannot be defeated by setbacks. Don't announce your goals, don't celebrate prematurely, build silently. Let the results make the noise when the time is right. The eighth elimination is emotional reactivity. When you get triggered easily, you lose power. Stoicism is not about suppressing emotions, it's about mastering them. Responding instead of reacting is a superpower. From now on, don't argue, don't defend, don't try to win every disagreement. Just observe, remain centered, and choose rational action over impulse. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. Your calm will prove everything over time. The ninth silent elimination is fear of solitude. People avoid being alone because loneliness forces them to face themselves. But solitude is where identity is built, where healing happens, and where purpose becomes clear. The person who learns to enjoy being alone becomes emotionally independent, and that kind of inner stability is rare and powerful. Choose silence regularly. Choose your own company. That's where self-respect is born. And finally, the 10th, the most challenging and life-changing, is the belief that you must stay the same for others to feel comfortable. You do not exist to make others feel secure about their own lack of growth. Stoicism teaches that life has seasons, and you are meant to evolve. Change quietly, improve quietly, transform quietly. One day people will look at you and not understand how you became so strong. They want to know the battles you fought in silence, and they don't need to know. Because real growth never required witnesses. Nothing changes in the external world until something changes inside you. Silent evolution is not about pretending to be strong, it's about becoming strong while no one is watching. While others obsess over showing progress, you build discipline. While others waste energy proving they're right, you build emotional control. While others are desperate for attention, you train independence. Stoicism isn't a philosophy of words, it's a philosophy of action. You don't need to announce who you're becoming, you only need to become it. And the day your results speak for you, silence will make perfect sense. From now on, your mission is simple. Remove silently, add intentionally. Remove habits that drain your power, and add behaviors that increase it. Remove people who sabotage your growth, and add people who inspire your highest potential. Remove the need to be understood, and add the will to understand yourself. Stoicism teaches that every decision is a vote for the person you're becoming, and every small action compounds into a life you can be proud of. Transformation doesn't happen in a single moment. It happens every time you choose progress when no one is watching. There will be days when your mind tries to convince you to go back to who you were because change feels uncomfortable. But discomfort is not a sign to stop, it's proof that you're evolving. You'll have urges to tell people what you're doing, to prove yourself, to seek recognition. Resist them. Improvement loses power when it becomes performance. The Stoics became unshakable not because they were perfect, but because they were consistent, calm, and disciplined even when nobody cared. The version of you you're rebuilding right now quietly is the one who will rewrite your entire life. And when the world starts to notice, don't stop. Don't slow down. Don't get comfortable. Growth has no finish line. Every chapter of your life will demand a greater version of you, and that version will emerge in silence, just like the others. Keep eliminating what weakens you. Keep building what strengthens you. Keep evolving without waiting for permission. The strongest people on this planet aren't the loudest. They're the most disciplined, the most emotionally controlled, and the most quietly relentless. Let others make noise. You make progress. If you're watching this and something inside you is calling for change, don't ignore it. You already know what needs to be removed. You already know what needs to be added. You already know who you need to become. The next chapter of your life begins the moment you act without hesitation and improve without announcement. Quiet progress will take you further than loud intentions ever could. So keep going, keep evolving, and remember the truth Stoicism has taught for centuries. The strongest growth is the kind nobody sees. Until the results become impossible to ignore. There will come a moment in your journey when silence becomes your greatest ally. People will sense your distance, your discipline, your focus, and some will feel uncomfortable because your growth reminds them of their stagnation. Do not shrink to make them feel better. Do not slow down to fit into who you used to be. A Stoic understands that evolution naturally separates you from the life you've outgrown. You are not losing people, you are losing the version of yourself that needed their approval. The more you rise, the more selective you become, and that selectivity is not arrogance, it is self-respect protecting your energy. As you continue quietly eliminating what holds you back, you will notice something powerful. Life will get lighter. Decisions will become simpler. Your mind will become clearer. When you stop negotiating with your weaknesses, progress becomes automatic. When you stop justifying laziness, discipline becomes natural. When you stop living for the world's expectations, your purpose becomes undeniable. Stoicism teaches that the reward is not external success, it's inner stability. And once you develop that stability, no setback, no person, and no challenge can take away what you've built internally. That is the real victory. There will also be days when you feel alone, misunderstood, or unseen. But understand this, silence is not emptiness. Silence is construction. In silence, you're building habits that nobody sees, character that nobody applauds, and strength that nobody can measure. Every early morning, every disciplined choice, every temptation resisted, every emotion controlled, it all counts. There is no wasted effort. Even when the world doesn't notice, your future self does. The transformation that feels invisible right now will one day become undeniable, and the life you're creating will become proof that silence was always the strongest strategy. And when you reach that point of unshakable confidence, not the loud, external kind, but the calm, internal certainty, remember this message. You did not get here by pretending. You did not get here by performing. You did not get here by convincing others of your worth. You got here by removing what weakened you and building what strengthened you, quietly, patiently, relentlessly. That is the Stoic blueprint for a powerful life. And now that you carry it within you, nobody can take it away. Your silence has become your shield. Your discipline has become your weapon. Your character has become your foundation. So continue. Continue removing without announcing. Continue improving without seeking applause. Continue evolving without needing witnesses. You are creating a life that reflects your highest potential, not because someone demanded it, but because you chose it. And the next time someone asks how you became so focused, so disciplined, so centered, simply smile. They don't need to understand the battles you fought, the decisions you made, or the sacrifices you accepted. Your results will speak for you. They always do. And that is the final lesson of Stoic wisdom. Noise impresses the insecure. Silence transforms the strong. From this moment forward, every silent improvement you make becomes a brick in the foundation of the life you're constructing. You don't need to rush. You don't need to compare. You don't need to prove anything. Each decision you make in private builds momentum. Wake up when it's difficult. Train when no one is watching. Learn when no one applauds. Stay disciplined even when no one expects you to. This is how greatness is forged, not in the spotlight, but in the unseen hours. The world celebrates the final result, but the true power lies in the process that no one else witnesses. The battles you fight within yourself every single day. Over time you will notice a shift. The challenges that once intimidated you will become manageable. The emotions that once controlled you will lose their power, and the people who once influenced your decisions will no longer dictate your direction. This is what inner mastery looks like. Not perfection, not emotionlessness, control. You decide how to act, not your impulses. You decide who stays in your life, not fear of loneliness. You decide how much effort you give, not your mood or excuses. The moment you take full responsibility for yourself is the moment you stop living as a passenger and begin living as the driver of your own existence. And as you keep walking this path, something remarkable will happen. Peace will replace anxiety. Confidence will replace doubt, and clarity will replace confusion. Not because life will suddenly become easy, but because you will become stronger. Stoicism does not promise a painless life. It promises the strength to face pain without losing yourself. The world may not reward your quiet effort immediately, but the universe has a rhythm. Everything you are building today will return to you in ways you cannot currently imagine. Your silent discipline is planting seeds. Time will bring their harvest. One day, the person you are becoming will meet the person you once hoped to be, and the realization will be powerful. You will not need validation, applause, or recognition, because the life around you will reflect your choices. You will recognize your own evolution in your patience, in your habits, in your standards, in your confidence. And the best part is this. You will know that you did it without betraying yourself to impress anyone else. You didn't shout your goals. You didn't brag about your progress. You didn't demand attention. You became the type of person who doesn't need it. So let this be your reminder anytime you feel tempted to give up. Quiet growth is still growth. Silent progress is still progress. Success built without witnesses is still success. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not invisible. You are evolving in the strongest way possible. Keep going. Keep rising. Keep eliminating in silence. One day, people will look at your life and call it luck, talent, or destiny. But you will know the truth. It was discipline. It was consistency. It was choices made in silence. And that is what makes you unstoppable. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you're teaching your mind who is in control. Every time you decide to stay focused when the world tries to pull you in 1,000 directions, you're sharpening your inner power. And every time you refuse to quit when things get difficult, you're proving to yourself that your commitment is stronger than your comfort. These are victories no one applauds, but they are the victories that shape your destiny. In silence, you are building a version of yourself that does not crumble under pressure, does not beg for approval, and does not get shaken by temporary circumstances. This strength is earned quietly, decision by decision, day after day. There will be moments when quitting seems easier than continuing, when going back to who you were feels more comfortable than stepping into who you're becoming. But comfort is not peace. Comfort is stagnation disguised as safety. The life you want is not found in the familiar. It's created through challenge. The Stoics understood that the meaning of life is not to escape adversity, but to become resilient enough to face it without fear. Every challenge you endure is preparing you for a future you cannot yet see. What seems heavy today will become effortless tomorrow, because strength grows in silence long before it becomes visible to the world. And something else will happen as you continue this journey. People will start asking what is different about you. They won't be able to explain it, but they will feel it. They will sense the calm in your presence, the clarity in your choices, and the confidence in your eyes. They will notice that you no longer chase validation, no longer explain yourself, no longer react to negativity. They will not understand the hours, the sacrifices, the discipline that created this version of you, and they don't need to. You owe no one an explanation for your evolution. Your growth is not a performance. It is a declaration made through action, not words. The more you grow, the more you will attract people and opportunities aligned with your new identity. Not because you begged for attention, but because you stopped needing it. The world responds differently to those who no longer seek approval. You will no longer chase, you will choose. You will no longer settle, you will select. You will no longer hide your potential, you will use it without hesitation. The life that once felt out of reach will become the life you naturally move toward because your habits, your mindset, and your discipline will be guiding you there silently, consistently, powerfully. And eventually, you will reach a point where silence is no longer just a strategy, it becomes your preference. Not because you fear being seen, but because you have nothing left to prove. Growth has become your nature. Discipline has become your identity. Peace has become your home. When you reach that stage, you will understand that the greatest transformation you experienced was not external success, it was internal freedom. You became someone who no longer needs the world to validate who you are. You became someone who belongs to themselves. And that is the highest form of strength a human being can ever achieve. Freedom begins the day you stop negotiating your worth. Not when life becomes easier, not when people finally recognize you, but when you recognize yourself. When your actions align with your values, you no longer feel the need to justify your choices. When you honor your priorities, you no longer apologize for your boundaries. And when you respect your time, your energy, and your growth, you stop begging others to do the same. This is the quiet shift that changes everything. You stop living for the world and start living for who you are meant to be. From that moment on, every step you take is grounded, intentional, and unshakable. The person you used to be will fade. The routines that once defined you will disappear. The identity built on insecurity will collapse. A new version of you will rise, one that does not fear failure, does not fear judgment, and does not fear change. Because you will finally understand that discomfort is temporary, but regret is permanent. Every sacrifice you make now is shaping a future where you never again look in the mirror wishing you had tried harder. The pain of growth lasts for a season. The pride of discipline lasts for a lifetime. As you continue eliminating in silence, you will discover that life becomes less about adding more and more about protecting what matters. Protecting your mental peace, protecting your purpose, protecting your environment. You will move differently, not because you're afraid of losing people, but because you no longer fear standing alone. You will speak less not because you have nothing to say, but because your energy is reserved for what truly deserves it. You will focus not on being seen, but on being effective. This is the moment when you stop surviving and start living with intention. There will come a time when you look back and barely recognize the person you once were, not out of shame, but out of gratitude. You will thank that version of yourself for not giving up when things were confusing, painful, or lonely. You will realize that every silent moment of discipline, every quiet decision to keep going, every private sacrifice you made was a step toward the life you now experience. You didn't need motivation, you needed consistency. You didn't need validation, you needed commitment. You didn't need the world to believe in you, you needed to believe in yourself. And when your life reaches that turning point, when peace becomes normal, when confidence becomes effortless, when growth becomes instinct, you will finally understand the message behind it all. The loudest version of you was never your strongest. Your strength was always found in silence. In the hours no one saw, in the choices no one praised, in the battles no one knew you fought. You didn't just change your life, you built yourself quietly, relentlessly, and now, nothing and no one can take that power away from you. The world around you will keep searching for shortcuts, for attention, for applause, for the fastest way to look successful without doing the work. But you will no longer be tempted by that noise, because you will have learned a truth that most people never understand. Results are not created in the spotlight. They are revealed there. You will keep doing the work long after motivation fades, long after excitement disappears, long after comfort calls you back. And that persistence, not talent, not luck, not perfect conditions, is what separates those who dream from those who transform. You are transforming, even when no one sees it. And as you continue to rise, something incredible happens internally. Your goals stop feeling like fantasies and start feeling like responsibilities. You no longer hope you will succeed. You expect it from yourself. You no longer wish life would change. You create the change. You no longer wait for opportunities. You become someone opportunities are drawn to. You stop depending on motivation and build a life around discipline. You stop seeking perfection and build strength through consistency. This shift is not loud, but it is permanent. Once you cross this line, you never return to the weaker version of yourself. You will eventually understand that the journey was never about proving anything to others. It was about remembering who you were before fear, comparison, insecurity, and opinions shaped you into someone smaller. It was about reclaiming the parts of yourself you abandoned just to fit in. It was about becoming the person you always knew you could be, but were once too afraid to become. The Stoics never chased recognition because they knew that greatness is not measured by applause. It is measured by self-mastery, and you are mastering yourself, step by silent step. There will still be challenges, setbacks, disappointments, but you will face them differently than before. You will no longer break when something goes wrong. You will adjust. You will no longer retreat when the path gets hard. You will rise to meet it. You will no longer take failure personally. You will use it as fuel. Every challenge will sharpen your discipline. Every mistake will refine your wisdom. Every setback will strengthen your resilience. This is not the absence of difficulty. It is the presence of power. And that power was born from every silent decision to keep going. One day, without realizing it, you will become the person others look at and say, "How did they do it?" They will search for the big moment, the dramatic turning point, the lightning strike of luck, but they will never find it. Because the truth is that you built your life quietly, patiently, consistently, when nobody was watching. You rose while others slept, learned while others complained, focused while others wasted time. You changed not because you were seen, but because you were committed. And that is the legacy of silent evolution. The world sees the results, but only you know the strength it took to build them.